A very good morning, students. Welcome back to online class on Java programming course. In our last class, we started the inheritance concept and we discussed many things under this inheritance. Like we have seen what is inheritance, we defined what is inheritance, then the terminology associated with this inheritance, like what is subclass, what is base class, what is a relationship, and the extends keyword, how it is used in Java to inherit a class, to inherit a subclass from an existing base class. After that, we have also seen the different types of inheritances, like the single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hybrid inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. So among these five types, we have implemented the single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance only. We discussed multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance in terms of concept, and we said in order to implement multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance, we need to have the knowledge of interfaces, which we have not covered so far. And once we complete these interfaces, we also implement the multiple inheritance and the hybrid inheritance concept. Okay, so very soon we are going to do that one. uh, yeah, in today's session we'll proceed further in inheritance, and we see what concepts we have over here to discuss in inheritance. Okay, so today's concept that we are going to cover in inheritance is the member access rules in Java. So basically, this member access rules we already discussed. Member access rules are nothing but access specifiers, like your public, private, protected, and default. We said four access specifiers we have in Java. We started with the private, protected, default, and public. We discussed these four, and we said protected access specifier, when you're talking about it, is going to have some special feature, some special role in inheritance that we will cover over here. Not only that, we try to touch all the access specifiers, and we see what access specifier, I mean the data members and the methods of what access specifiers will get inherited into the subclass. Okay, suppose if you have some if you have some private members, like private data and private methods inside the superclass, can the subclass inherit those? Similarly to the default one, similarly to the protected one, similar to the public one, what data members, I mean what um, access specifier data members and what access specifier methods does the subclass will inherit from the parent class? That we're going to discuss in today's concept. The access modifiers in Java specifies the accessibility or the scope of a field, method constructor, or a class. So these access specifiers will generally specify these things. Okay, so we can change the access level of a field, constructor, field in the sense of variable, fields, constructors, methods, and class by applying the access modifier on it. Okay, by applying the suitable access modifier, we can restrict the access to that particular uh, field or method or constructor or the class. Okay, so types of access specifiers or types of access modifiers, there are four types we have in Java. The private, the access level is completely zero. The default, it is same like public, in case if you don't have packages. If you have packages, we have some different rules to discuss about this default. So if you don't include the packages concept in your Java, then consider this default like public only. Okay, Then protected, it is going to have a special role in inheritance. Only the child classes or only the subclasses will inherit this protected, and out of the class we cannot access. Okay, out of the class we cannot access, only the subclasses will inherit. And this is also going to have some special property, special meaning in inheritance. Then public, it is open to the world. Anybody, everywhere can access this public data members or public methods, public constructors, public classes. Okay, these are the four access modifiers which we gonna practice with inheritance in today's session. Okay, the private one, the default one, the protected one, and the public one. Just read the statements what I have written. Maybe if I'm missing something, the access level of private modifier is only within the class. So completely restrict, zero access out of the class. Okay, it cannot be accessed from outside the class. We cannot access the private data members, private methods, private constructors, and private what we call classes outside of the class. It is limited within the class only. Then the default access modifier, the access level of default access modifier is within the package. Okay, as we said, this default access modifier, it is going to have something which we need to discuss in packages. Okay, it cannot be accessed from outside the package. If you try to access something, if you try to access the default data member, default field outside of the package, it is not possible. If you do not specify any access level, I mean, see, for this private to indicate, if you want to make any field, any constructor, any method, any class as private, you have a special keyword private, private, this keyword. But for this default, we don't have any keyword. If you are leaving a particular field without specifying any access specifier, by default it will come under default access specifier. Default means no keyword. You don't need to specify any keyword over there. Okay, by default it will come under default access specifier only. Then we have protected. For this protected, the keyword is protected. Okay, PROTECTED, protected keyword we use in order to make our fields as protected. The access level of a protected modifier is within the package and outside the package through child classes. Okay, through child classes. If you do not make the child class, it cannot be accessed from outside the package. Within the package, not only the child classes but also other classes. Other classes can also access this private, this protected data. But when it comes to outside the package, when we are talking about outside the package, only the child classes can access. Normal classes, they cannot access. If the class is not a subclass, then it cannot access. Outside the package, it cannot access. But non-subclasses within the package also, they can access the protected data members. That we will see very soon. Then public means the access level of public modifier is everywhere. Everywhere. Within the package, outside the package, within the subclasses, within non-subclasses, within outside the package, within subclasses, within non-subclasses, everywhere you can access the public data members. Just you need to create the suitable object for the class. That's it. Create the object and access the data member. No restriction at all. Public means. Okay. Then understanding the Java access modifiers. Just now whatever explanation I have given in my previous slide, I have tabulated that one over here. Just refer that one. Same class in the sense within the class. Here when I am saying same class, this is within the class. Same package subclasses means the classes which are inheriting the current class. The classes which are inheriting the current class within the package, we call it as same package subclasses. Classes which are inheriting. Same package non-subclasses means within the package but the classes which are not inheriting. Okay, there is no inheritance relationship. There is no easy relationship between the classes. So we call such classes as non-subclasses. Then different package subclasses means in a different package the classes which are inheriting. In a different package the classes which are inheriting. Then different package non subclasses means in a different package the classes which are not inheriting. There is no easy relationship. Okay, so we'll start with public, okay, because public means full access rights, isn't it? We start with public. If you see, same class we can access, same package subclasses we can access, same package non subclasses we can access, different package subclasses we can access, different package non subclasses also we can access. The public means full access, 100% access, full access. Then we have protected. Protected means, see, same class within the class we can access. Okay, same package subclasses we can access. Same package non subclasses also we can access. Same package non subclasses also we can access the protected data members. Okay, different package subclasses we can access. Different package non subclasses we can't. There is a restriction. Different package non subclasses we can't. Okay, then private means only within the class we can access and rest of all we can't. So same class we can access, rest of all we can't access. Then default, it is a special type, okay, special type of access specifier. So it indicates same class within the class we can access, same package subclasses we can access, same package non subclasses we can access. But when we are saying different package, if you are going to a different package, the access is restricted. There is no access at all. Default means outside the package we cannot access. Default means outside the package the access is completely restricted. Zero access outside the package. Within the package, within the class, outside the class, in subclasses, everywhere we can access. Within the package it acts like a public member only. But when it comes to different package concept, the access is like private, zero access. So hope you understood all these four access specifiers, modifiers over here. So the first one, the private access modifier, just now we have seen the private access modifier is accessible only within the class. The subclass will not inherit the private members of the superclass. So in terms of inheritance, when we are discussing, if you have some members as private in the superclass and you are inheriting a subclass from that superclass, your inherited class will not get any access to the private members. They may be fields, they may be methods, they may be constructors, they may be classes, inner classes. So all these things, when you are making them as private, they will be restricted from access. Hope you understood. So we will do a simple example to understand this private data member concept, private member concept in terms of inheritance. Okay. In this example, we have created two classes, A and simple. Okay. A class contains private data member and private method. Okay, we will see what class names we have taken. Yes, A class, and we have taken B class. Okay, not simple, but B class we have taken. A class, in this A class we made this A as private, and this method message A is also private. So that means even B class is extending A class. Even B class is extending A class. That means B class is inheriting A class. It will not get this private properties. Okay, it will not get these private members into it. So here inside B class we have two private members. One is B variable and one is message B. Over here message A we have, here we have message B. So if you create the object, if you see in the next what we call slide, we have created the object of B only. BOBJ we have created. Okay, so BOBJ, B object, when you have created, using that BOBJ, you cannot access any of these. Why? Means all these are private. Okay, BOBJ, it cannot access A because it is not inheriting A. BOBJ, it cannot access message A because it is not inheriting that one. Okay, then BOBJ can we access this B? Not possible, because you are trying to access this B inside this public demo class. Okay, this is outside the class. This is something accessing outside the class, which is not allowed. So for accessing A, you will get compiler error. Accessing B, you will get compiler error. Same thing for message A and message B also, you will get compiler error, because you're trying to access all these four. Okay, all these four outside of the classes, and they are private members, so you will get compile time error for all these four. So quickly we'll go and we see how our program, demonstration, whether we will get the same thing or not. Class A I'm making, and private int A equals to some 40 I'm making. Then private, okay, void message A off. So in this message I'm writing one simple system dot out dot println of. Okay, what message we have written over there? Class A class method, A class method. Close this. So class A is over. Then class B extends. We are inheriting from A. So in this, private int B is equals to 80, and private void message B, okay, off. So in this we are writing one simple message, system dot out dot println of B class method. Okay, one simple message I have written. So now two class creation is over. Now I am creating another class, class private demo. Okay, my class name is class private demo. So in this I need to put public static void main of string args. Okay, then what I have to do? Yes, simply create the object for B class, that is B BOBJ, B object equals to new B constructor. Okay, default constructor I am calling. So now using this BOBJ I'm trying to print system.out.println of BOBJ.a. I'm trying to print. Is it possible? Not possible. You will get compile error over there. Again, system.out.println of BOBJ.b. It is also not possible, because I'm trying to access that B variable, which is private, outside the class. Again, you will get error. Then BOBJ.msg, message A. Okay, message of A class, which is also not possible. Over there it was private. Message B is also not possible. I'm trying to access outside the class, which is private. Okay, so now save the program with private demo.java. Go to save as. Here you put that .java. If something is giving overwrite, you just overwrite. Save it. Okay, tools, compile. As you can see, A has private access in A class. A has private access in A class, so it is an error. Again, B has private access in B class. Again, it is an error. Message A can't find. Message B is also can't find. Message A can't find. Why can't find means because there is no access. The B class object, it is not inheriting at all. It is not inheriting at all. That's why it is giving an error, can't find. Okay, can't find symbol message A. But when it comes to message B has private access. We are getting a different message over here. Okay, different error over here. For message A, it is giving cannot find, symbol cannot find. But over here, message B, it has private access. Why it is saying cannot find means because inside BOBJ, inside B class object, it is not there. Message A method is not there. Why it is not there? Because B class, it is not inheriting that message A method. That is the reason inside BOBJ, message A can't find. If it finds that message A, it might have given this type of error. Message A has private access in A. Likewise, it might have given. Because it is not inheriting, because B class object, it is not inheriting, you are getting that type of error. Okay, hopefully you understood. So quickly we need to go to the next type, that is after discussion of this one, the uh, yes, if you make any class constructor as private, see, making a constructor as private, it is not allowed, because if you make a constructor as private, then what will happen? You cannot create the object of that class, isn't it? When you are creating the object, you are invoking the constructor. If you make the constructor as private, the invocation will not become possible. Over here you can see. See, we have created class A here. We have created class A, and inside that class A, I'm making the default constructor A without any parameters, without any code, body of constructor. I'm making this A constructor as private. Private means you're restricting the access of this A constructor to this class only. Outside the class you cannot access, isn't it? So but when you're creating the object of A class, you're calling the constructor from outside the class. You're calling this constructor A outside the class, which is not allowed. So simply, if you make the constructor as private, it is not possible to create the object outside the class. Instantiation will not become possible outside the class. Instantiation means creating the object. Okay. Then the default access modifier or default access specifier. Okay, for this default access modifier or default access specifier, we don't have any keyword. So if you don't use any modifier, by default, it will be treated like a default access modifier only. Okay, the default access modifier is accessible only within the package. Only within the package means from the superclass to the subclass, it will inherit. From the superclass to the subclass, the default fields or the default constructors, default methods, default classes, they will be inherited. Okay, the default modifier is accessible within the package. It cannot be accessible outside the package. It provides more accessibility than private, because private means complete restriction. It will give some more when compared with private, it will give some more access. Okay, but it is more restrictive than protected and public. Protected will also give access to the subclasses of different package, and but default, it will not give the access to the subclasses of different package as well. So when you compare the restriction between default and protected, default is more restrictive. Okay, in this diagram also you can see here, default is more restrictive than protected. Here protected, it is having 4 yes and only 1 no, but default, it is having 3 yes and only 2 no. So default is more restrictive than protected. Remember this one. Okay, so the subclass will inherit all the default members from the superclass if both classes are under the same package. If the classes, if they are under the same package, the subclass will inherit all the default members. But if the subclass is in a different package, it will not inherit any of the default member. Remember this one. Okay, so over here we are keeping both the classes inside the same package, and we are checking. So here class A, when I'm making int A is 40, so it is, as I'm not specifying any access modifier, so it will be treated like a default one. For message A also same thing. I'm not specifying any access modifier, so this message A will also be treated like default. So in class B, what I am doing, again B, it is default, message B, it is default. So within the package, subclasses will inherit. So if I create the object of B, that's enough to access A, message A, B, message B. So why I can access A, message A means because class B is inheriting all the default members, all the default members from class A to class B. So that's the reason I can access this 40, this message A, as well as this 80 and message B. Okay, and moreover, I am creating this B class object in a different class. In a different class, I am creating the B class object, and using B class object, what I am doing, I am accessing all these. Okay, I'm accessing all these. So out of the class within the package also default allows the access. Outside the class within the package also the default will allow the access. Okay, so I will go and I will see, okay, we will go and we will see whether it is applicable or not, whatever discussion we had, whether it will work or not. So what I have to do, simply go here, and instead of making this private demo, now we are demonstrating default. So default demo, and what changes I have to do, class A, remove this private, okay, and here also remove this private, and don't put any access modifier, so that all will become default. So now go to your default demo, create the object and try to access all. So will it give the access? Yes, it will give the access, because all are within the package. All members are within the package, and I'm trying to access all the members using B class object, and B class is inheriting all the members of A class. So generally, if it is not inheriting, if B class is not inheriting the A class members, then here I should get error. The A, I should get error, message A, I should get error. Because the B class is inheriting all the properties, so the B class object will hold all the properties. So I can invoke, I can access all the data members and all the methods. So that is the reason why I'm able to access the A class members also using the B class object, because they are there in the B class object. Okay, because the B class is inheriting them. So quickly go and check, compile, compilation, it is successful, and if you see the run, it is invoking all. Okay, so here there is a mistake. I need to rename my private demo class. I need to rename my private demo class to default demo. So simply rename your program name to default demo.java. So now go compile, compilation successful, and run, you will get the output. See, it is printing the A value, which is 40, it is printing the B value, which is 80, and it is calling the A class message A, so you are getting A class method, and it is calling the B class message B, so you are getting the B class method message. So all access, I mean all default members from A class to B class, they are inheriting, and you can even access these default members outside the class just by creating the class object. Okay, hopefully you understood. So the next thing which we have in our discussion is the protected access modifier. See, protected access modifier is accessible within the package as well as outside the package also, but only through the classes which are inheriting. Outside the package, only the classes which are inheriting they can access. Within the class, it acts like public only. Within the class, it acts, within the package, it acts like public only, but outside the package, only the classes which are inheriting they can access. Other classes, other subclass, other non-subclasses, they are restricted. Non-subclasses, different package, they are restricted. Subclasses, different package can access. Hopefully you understood. Okay. So protected access modifier can be applied on data members, methods and constructors. It can't be applied on classes. It provides more accessibility than default. Okay, it is less protected than default. Okay, so what keyword we use in order to make our member as protected means the keyword protected. So come to your same program and go here and make all the types as protected, all the variables and all the methods as protected. Protected int b and protected void message b. Okay, here also in protected int a, protected void message a. Okay, like this. So now you will get the same output because this is within the package, and within the package it acts like a public only. So all the members from A class to B class, they will get inherited. They will get inherited, and you can even access the inherited members as well as the B class members outside the class, because this is within the package. Okay, within the package, protected will act like a public only. So simply go here and compile, no issues, and run. You will get the output. See, same 4080 A class method, B class method. So it is invoking, it is accessing both A, B, as well as it is invoking message A and message B. So this is what. And the last access modifier, that is public. Public means open to the world. Anybody, any subclass, non-subclass, within the package, outside the package, everywhere you can access. Okay, the public access modifier is accessible everywhere. It has the widest scope among all the modifiers. All, yes, everywhere you can access. Simply by you have to create the suitable class object and you can access. Okay, so this is the last access modifier. So in order to make your data member, or in order to make your member of a class as public, you need to use the public access modifier. Okay, public. So this also public, public, public. Likewise, you just make all the data members as public and just create the object, and with the help of that object we can access the data members and methods. Okay, compile the program, program compilation successful, and run the program. All members we are accessing. So only the full restriction is under private. The partial restriction we have seen, private is fully restricted, default is somewhat restricted, protected is less restricted compared to default, and public is completely open. Public is completely open. And inheritance also we have seen. What data members the subclasses can inherit, in the sense, if the subclass is within the package, if the subclass is within the package, it can inherit all the public, protected, as well as default members of a class. Default members of a class. So when I'm saying members of a class, those members, they can be fields, they can be constructors, they can be methods, they can be classes. Okay, so within the package, public, protected, default, your subclass can inherit. But outside the package, when we are saying outside the package, only the public members can be inherited. Outside the package, only the public members. Protected, they are restricted. Yes, protected also you can inherit. Outside the package, only the protected and public you can inherit. But when it comes to default, it is restricted, and when it comes to private, it is also restricted, because we said outside the package your default will act like private, within the package your default will act like public. So remember this. Okay, so this is the discussion of modifiers, access modifiers in Java. So we discussed about 4, that is default, private, protected, and public. Okay, so quickly we go and we see what concept we have after this discussion. So the super keyword. So after static and final keyword, this is another keyword, super keyword, that we need to discuss in Java. Okay, the super keyword is a reference to the parent class, we can say. Okay, it is something like an object without creation. Okay, object without creation to the parent class. Suppose if you want to access something from a class, what we generally do, we create an object for that class, isn't it? We create an object for that class. So if you want to access something from the parent class inside the child class, okay, if you want to access something from the parent class inside the child class, then we use this super keyword. Super keyword generally refers to the immediate parent class. Okay, if you have the hierarchy, okay, if you have the hierarchy like this, if you have multiple classes in the hierarchy in the sense levels, multi-level. So suppose you're here from this class, you want to use super. From this class, if you are using super, Which parent class it represents? The immediate parent class. We are not talking about this. We are not talking about this. The immediate parent class. This one. The super represents the immediate parent class of a current class. So if you are here, then the super will represent this one. Okay, and if you are here, then the super will represent this one. Likewise, always it will represent the immediate super class of the current class. Remember this one. The super keyword in Java is a reference variable which is used to refer immediate parent class object. So when I am saying immediate, exactly top on the current class. Okay, so whenever you create the instance of a subclass, whenever you create the instance of a subclass, an instance of a parent class is created implicitly, which is referred by super reference variable. So if the classes are in inheritance relationship, if the classes are in is a relationship, so likewise, see here, I will explain that one. If you have class A, if you have class B, and class B is inheriting from class A, this is your A class and this is your B class, and over here you have extends keyword between, because class B is inheriting from class A. So in between you have extends keyword. So this extends keyword, what it will do, it will inherit all the properties from A to B except private, isn't it? So yes, so when you are creating the B class object, how you do? Obj equals to new B of. Okay, like this. When you are creating the B class object, what it will do means, it will implicitly in the sense you don't have to do anything. When I'm saying implicitly, we have seen explicit conversion, implicit conversion. There we know the meaning of implicit. Implicit means without the intervention of the user, without the intervention of the programmer. Okay, so what it will do? It will implicitly create an object of A class. Okay, and the reference to that object is your super keyword. Okay, and the reference to that object is your super keyword. It will not create the object with some name. Remember this one, it will not create the object with some name. So how we can access the immediate superclass object in the sense by using the super keyword. So now this super is something like the A class object only, and it will not do for rest of the classes. It will do only for the immediate superclass. If you have the hierarchy of classes, you cannot go beyond A. Using super, you cannot go beyond A. So suppose if you want to go above A, then what you have to do? You have to create the A class object, and inside A class, you can use the super to access this class. So likewise, here what we are doing, we are creating the B class object, and when you use this super keyword inside B class, it represents the immediate superclass object, that is A class object over here. Okay, so hope you understood. Whenever you create the instance of a subclass, an instance of the parent class is created implicitly, which is referred by the super keyword, super reference variable. We have different applications, different uses of this super keyword. Okay, they are 3 in number. The super can be used to refer the immediate parent class instance variable. So whenever you want to refer the immediate superclass object, reference instance variable is nothing but the object. So whenever you want to refer the immediate superclass object inside the current class, use the super keyword. See, we are not referring outside of the current class. You have to refer that immediate superclass object inside the current class only. The super keyword can be used inside the current class. Don't expect that we can use super keyword anywhere in our program and we are expecting the superclass object to be created. It is not like that. You have to refer the super keyword only within the current class. Okay, then only it will refer the immediate superclass. Okay, super can be used to invoke the immediate parent class method. So when you have when it is referring the objects, you can easily call the immediate parent class methods using this super keyword. Okay, then super off. Super off, that means super keyword followed by the parenthesis like a method. It represents the immediate parent class constructor. Okay, it represents the immediate parent class constructor. So you can even pass the parameters over here to call the parameterized constructors or overloaded constructors. To call the overloaded constructors or to call the parameterized constructor, what you can do, you can pass the parameters in between those two parentheses. So super like a method represents the immediate superclass constructor. Normal variables. Okay, so first of all, super keyword, it represents the immediate superclass object within the current class. Super, using super keyword, you can even call the immediate parent class methods also. And using the super like a method, you can call the immediate superclass constructors also within the current class. Okay, these three are the important applications or important uses of your super keyword. 1, 2, 3 I have listed over here. You can refer and you can remember, and if they ask you to write in exams, you can. Okay, and it is moreover it is a 2 marks question. Super and this keyword. There is another keyword, this keyword, that we are going to discuss in our next class, because I thought of explaining that super keyword also in today's class. But if because there is a similarity between super and this. So if I explain that this keyword in today's class, you will get confused. So that's the reason what I have done means in today's class I am explaining the super keyword, and in tomorrow's class I will explain the this keyword. Okay. So super keyword, immediate superclass object. Using the immediate superclass object, we can call the immediate superclass methods also using super keyword. And we can even call the immediate superclass constructors also using super keyword like a method. And you can even pass the parameters to this super constructor just to invoke the overloaded constructors from the superclass. Yeah, first one, super is used to refer the immediate parent class instance variable. We can use super keyword to access the data member or field of parent class. So when you're accessing the fields, when you're accessing the data members of parent class within the current class, that means super is acting like the instance of the parent class. Okay, it is used if the parent class and child class have same fields. So generally, when the subclass is inheriting the superclass, you can access all the data members. There is no need of super keyword, isn't it? There is no need of super keyword. You can access all the data members inside the subclass if it is inheriting. But if both superclass as well as subclass, if they are having the same names, like a variable in superclass and a variable in subclass, then how you are going to differentiate between a variables? Okay, a variable is of superclass or a variable is of subclass. How you are going to differentiate means just over there you have to use this super keyword. I will show you that in my demonstration. If it is used if both parent class and child class have same fields. So over here you can see I'm taking one class with name animal, and I'm giving the color like white. Animal color like white. So now what I'm doing, I'm extending a class dog class from animal superclass. Okay, so here also I'm taking the color variable. Here we have color variable, and here also I'm taking color variable. Here I'm initializing color value like white, and here I'm initializing color value like black. So now I'm calling a method print color. Okay, so when you call this print color method and you print here color and here also color, here color we are printing and here also color we are printing. Without the super, what will happen? So suppose if you are printing color without super, what it will do? It will print the immediate color only. It will print the immediate data member. I mean the current class data member. It will print. So how you can access this color means using super. So if you print normal color, it will print this color. Okay, if you have same name and you want to access the parent class, that is super class data member, then you have to depend on super. Here this super, it is acting like the super class object over here. Okay, this I will show you with more clarity in my IDE. So just go here, delete this and create the classes according to our need. The first one, class animal, I have taken. So in this, what I am doing, I am keeping that it is normal, right? It is default. String color equals to white. Color equals to white I have taken. So this is my class, animal class. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating one dog class which is extending the animal class. So in this, what I'm doing, I'm here also I'm taking one method, that is one variable, that is color2. Let us assume first we'll take different names, color2, and over here I'm making color2 like black. Okay, then yes, I'm taking one method over here, void print color off, print color off, and here I will print the color, system dot out dot println of color 1, sorry, color comma system dot out dot println of color 2. As you can see here, there is no confusion. The dog class is extending animal class, so it will get this color property also into it. So here the dog class is having a data member with different name, color2. So when you are saying color, you are referring to animal color, and when you are saying color2, you are referring to dog color. So there is no confusion. Here you will get the output without any issues. So class I'm giving this as super demo, because we are demonstrating super keyword over here, super demo. So in this you put public static void main of string args. Okay, so here just create the B class object, that is dog class object, not B, isn't it? Dog class object, dog D is equals to new dog off. Like this I have created my dog class object. Now using D, just call the what is that? Extends animal. What is that method name? Yeah, this print color method. I'm calling this print color method. Okay, save it. So now what it will do? First it will print the color of animal, that is white, then it will print the color of dog, because it is having a different name, color2. So you will get black over there. So save it. Now go compile, successful, because yeah, we have to give this name to our program. Go to file, save as, super demonstration. Now compile, success, run. Sorry, again I pressed compile. So then run. As you can see, white and black both we got. White from, as we are printing first the color, so we are getting animal color. Then we are printing color 2, so we are getting dog color. Where comes the problem means, if I make both variables as color only, instead of color 2, if I make my dog class color variable also, dog class data member also with same name like animal class, there comes the problem. So now what will happen? Wherever you use color, it will refer to the immediate color only. It will not go to the parent class. It will refer to the immediate color only. See, so over here what you will get? You will get both black only. It will not print white. Okay, Java compiler. Yes. Now run. See, you are getting black only. It is not going to the parent class. So in such cases, when you have the common name for both parent class as well as the child class data members, when you have the common name, when you have the same name, in that case you have to use super keyword as the reference of a super class in order to differentiate between such data members. So now what I can do, in order to make my second variable to be referred from the animal class, I need to use the super keyword, super dot color. So now what will happen? This will print black, but super dot color will print white. So indirectly what I am doing, using this super, it is acting like the animal class object over here, because it is used to refer the data member, isn't it? So see, now we are getting black, white in this way. Black, white, in this way we are accessing. So hopefully you understood this concept using the super keyword. So the next we have, super can be used to invoke the parent class method. So not only invoking the same name data members, but also it is used to invoke the methods from the parent class. The super keyword can also be used to invoke parent class methods. It should be used if subclass contain the same name as parent class method. So the concept we here is, when the parent class and child class, both classes are having the same method name, we call such methods as overridden methods. So in other words, it is used if methods are overridden. Okay. So in case of overridden methods, to refer the parent class method, overridden methods means what? Both parent class as well as the child class, they will have the same methods. Parent class as well as the child class, they will have the same method names. Okay, so we call such methods as overridden methods. So again, there also the problem will come same. Something like data members, when you are giving a name of the data member, which data member it should refer, whether it should refer the child class or it should refer the parent class. As child class color is near to it, it will always refer to the child class color only. Here also same thing, as child class method is going to be near, so it will always refer to the child class method only. So in order to refer the parent class method, in order to call the parent class overridden method, what we have to do, we have to use this super keyword there also. So quickly I will demonstrate that one also. So here you can see, inside the animal class we have eat method. Okay, eat method. Then inside dog class also we have eat method. Okay, eat method, eating bread, and it is also having bark method and work. See here, so when you are calling the eat method inside work, when you are calling the eat method inside work, if you put eat, it will refer to the immediate eat method only. It will not refer to the this method. Okay, it will not go to the animal method. It will refer to the immediate eat method. So in order to refer to this animal eat method, what we have to do, use super dot eat. Okay, I will show you this one. Okay, and this super keyword you can't use outside the class, isn't it? So that's the reason we are taking the help of this work method. So inside this work method, we are simply calling this eat as well as this bark. Okay, if you make only eat over here, it will call this and this. If you make super dot eat, it will call this eat. So we will go and we will see that one. So again, delete this entire thing. So class animal, and within this animal class we are keeping eat method. Okay, so eat method system dot out dot println of eating. Okay, eating. So the next thing, come down and create the class dog extends animal. Why I am typing again and again means you will get some idea how I am doing the coding. You will get idea. Because of that idea only I am typing this one. Void eat method. Same method name I have taken over here. So system dot out dot println of, okay, eating bread, just to have the separate separate meaning over here. Okay, just to have a differentiation we can say. So next thing, void bark, bark, and in it you put system dot out dot println of barking. Okay, so like this we have created, and in this I'm creating another method to call these two. Here I'm calling eat, and then I'm calling bark. Okay, now come down and create your sorry, public class super demo only, because we are demonstrating super keyword only, super demo. And in this you create b class object. How we can create? Inside pspm, public static void main of string args. Okay, come down and create the b class object. B, no, not b, dog class object. Dog d is equals to new dog of. Okay, so now using d, call the work method. Okay, so when you call the work method, that work method is indirectly invoking eat and bark. So eat, which it is invoking? It is invoking whether it is invoking this eat or this eat. It will always invoke the nearest eat. If you take like that, if there is a method overriding, it will always take the nearest eat. So it will invoke eating bread and barking. You will just go and see. Tools, compile, compilation successful, and run. You're getting this message, eating bread and barking. You're not getting only eating message, which is there inside animal class. So how to invoke that method? How to invoke the method, overridden method from the super class? In the sense, just put super dot eat over here. Super dot eat. Super dot eat. Now it will invoke this method. Okay, just go tools, compile, compilation successful, and when you run, you will get that message. As you can see, eating, barking. So eating, it is invoking from animal method, and barking, it is invoking from dog class. Animal class and dog class. Hopefully you understood. So in this way, not only referring to the superclass data members which are having name conflict, but also you can invoke the methods from superclass which are having method overriding concept, that is name conflict in method. So in order to invoke from the superclass, just use the super keyword. Hope you understood this one. So just go and see what else we have here. The third one, super is used to invoke the parent class constructor as well. Okay, in order to invoke the parent class constructor also, we use the super keyword. The super keyword can also be used to invoke the parent class constructor. Let's just discuss with a simple example. Over here we have the animal class and we have the dog class. Inside animal class, I kept one constructor animal, and in that constructor I'm printing simple message, animal is created. Okay, now I'm extending my dog class from animal class. So when you are extending, the constructors will not be extended, okay, inherited. Okay, so when you are extending, you are inside the dog class, I'm creating the dog class constructor, and in that I'm keeping this message. Okay, dog is created. But before that, I'm keeping this super as well. This super as well. So what this super will do means it will invoke the animal constructor as well. Okay, so generally default constructors, I think by default they will be invoked. Okay, there is another concept we have, that constructor invocation. Over there we will discuss this concept. Okay, so super keyword will also invoke the superclass constructor. Okay, so in this way, what will happen when you are creating the object of dog class? We are not creating the object of animal class, we are creating the object of dog class. So this object creation will invoke the dog class constructor, dog constructor. So what will happen? This constructor method gets invoked, and inside that we are invoking super of. This super of, what it will do? It will invoke the animal constructor, superclass constructor. Super of will invoke the superclass constructor. So animal will get invoked. So you will get animal is created message first, then after invoking this one, it will come over here and it will execute this statement also. So you will get dog is created message, animal is created message, and dog is created message. Two messages one after the other you will get like this. First it will invoke the superclass constructor, then it will invoke the subclass constructor like this. Okay, hopefully you understood. So just the demonstration we see, and we will conclude the lecture, today's lecture. So first what we have the animal class animal, and in it I am keeping that constructor animal of, and inside it I am keeping system dot out dot println of, okay, animal is created. Okay, so next thing, sorry, come down and create the dog class, extend from animal. Okay, in it you put the dog class constructor. Okay, and in this dog class constructor you put first the super of, so that it call the animal class constructor, and then put a message system dot out dot println of dog is created. Dog is created. Okay, so now what we have to do after this, write your super demo class, and in it create the put the PSVM public static void main of. Here you create the dog class object. That's it. D equals to new dog of. Creating the object itself invokes the constructor. So it will invoke the dog constructor. So inside dog constructor we have the super of. So super of will invoke the super class constructor. So we will get two messages. Animal is created first, then dog is created next. So we just go and compile. It is successfully compiled. So now run. Check the out. Okay, it is saying super demo main method not found in class super demo. Please define the main method as. So maybe there is some mistake I have done. Public static void main. Here we forgot to pass the argument string args of. Okay, now come over here, compile it. Okay, and go run. See, you are getting animal is created first and then dog is created next. So both the messages we are getting. So this is how not only accessing the data members of super class using the super keyword inside current class, child class, not only accessing the methods of super class inside child class, overridden methods, but also we can call the superclass constructor using this super keyword directly inside the current class. Hopefully you understood this concept, super keyword. And after this we have the final keyword in inheritance. So this also I will explain. See, final method in inheritance. Final method, whatever methods you are making as final into the super class, those methods you cannot what we call override. You cannot override into the child class. This thing we have already seen. Okay, with the final keyword complete explanation I have given over there. I've explained about this final methods in a class. Final methods in a class we cannot override inside the child class. Overriding in the sense taking the same name in the child class, taking the same name, same parameters into the child class. That is not allowed. Okay, overriding of the final method from the super class, it is not allowed. Okay, remember this one. The role of final method in inheritance is that one only. I will show you that one very quickly. So here, just remove this one. Take void eat off, and here you put like this, and inside this what you do, system dot out dot println of, you put eating 1 2 3 dots. Then here you come and make this. Okay, first we'll do like this, then we'll go to here extending animal, and remove this constructor and put eat method only, void eat of. This is overriding, isn't it? Method overriding. So system dot out dot println of, okay, eating bread. Eating bread. This is method overriding, taking the same name in both parent class as well as in child class. Eat, eat. So this is method overriding. So when I create dog d is equals to new dog of and d dot eat, so this will always invoke the child class eat method. Okay, so just go and see what we will get. Compile. Successful. So we will get eating bread method, eating bread as output, eating bread. Okay, so next thing, if I make this one as final, I'm making my method as final inside animal class and I'm overriding that method into my dog class. Is it allowed? Just go and see. Is it allowed? Compile. Not possible. See, eat in dog can't overwrite eat in animal. Overridden method is final. This error message we are getting. Overridden method is final. So we cannot overwrite. Hopefully you understood. Can it inherit that method? So if I put eat 2 over here, can it inherit? So that means this d dot eat I'm calling. So d dot eat, from where it should invoke? From the animal method. I'm not overriding now. Here eat and eat 2, two different methods. Okay, but I'm just checking whether dog class is going to extend this eat method or not. That I'm checking. So just go and see. Compile. No errors. So if it is extending, if it is inheriting, I should get eating as output. So it will give that. See, eating. So it is inheriting. It will inherit, but you cannot override. Okay, overriding a final method, it is not possible, but a final method will inherit from the parent class to the child class. This is about final method in inheritance. Now the term final class we have. Final class in inheritance. So you cannot inherit a final class. You can't use the extends keyword with final class. So instead of making this method as final, you make this entire class as final. So now what will happen? I cannot extend. I cannot use the extend on this animal class because it is final. The class animal is final. See, something is final, we cannot extend it. If you're already deciding it as final, so how come you can extend? If it is not final, then only you can extend. Okay. So just compile it. See, we are getting class dog extends animal cannot inherit from final animal. Animal with the class which is already final. So how come you extend that one? Extending means adding some more. So if you have already decided as, you already made it as final, so there is no scope of extending. Okay. In this way, you have to understand the programming logic or programming paradigm. Hopefully you understood. So a final class, it cannot be inherited. Final class in inheritance means final class you cannot inherit. Okay. So next thing, method overriding and further concepts we will discuss in our next session, hopefully in tomorrow's session, hopefully. Thank you very much, students.